because, make sure you're there. I created it because I just wanted to connect with really awesome people of light and consciousness and talk to them about what I'm passionate about, and spread it, across the world without having the main telly. And Facebook Lives, all these things, YouTube is amazing for this. So let me just see if I'm live now. Yes, I'm live.
Yes,
Great.
you are. I can see
Yes,
you.
it's all good. Yes, so that is why I created this, because I felt really called to do it, and I also felt it's quite exciting to talk to people that loves the same things that you love. So very, very warm welcome to Nathalie. Do I say Nathalie with a TH?
Natalie's fine.
Yeah,
Natalie's okay.
Natalie.
Your
I'm not
best.
even going to try to pronounce your surname because I'm not sure. Can you say?
Oh, it's in French, it's Guerin, but in English, it's Guerin.
Guerin. Okay, so Guerin, then fine. So very welcome to the show. I found you through one of the Facebook groups, I think. So yeah, I can't even remember now. And also when you spoke, when you said first about goddess, like that was your topic about embodying the goddess. It really resonated with me because I did a lot of like goddess work, if you like. Many years ago, I started with this, very much, and this unlocking yourself, really, just clearing your garbage out, basically. And it was just so powerful, and I had met some really wonderful people doing this work, and I haven't been in contact with that type of we're doing lots of circles and things like that at the time for lately, but I feel that the goddess energy is very it's very important, it's very potent, it's here to help us change, and everything. So please, could you introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and your
What I
soul
do.
work.
So thank you so much for having me on, Jenny. And
Yeah.
I really believe like the goddess energy is about unleashing our true power out into the world and finding our voice, finding our confidence, and just showing up. Sometimes people get a little uncomfortable with the word goddess, and I'm like, good, right? Maybe it's a sign that you need to go up and really express who you are. So my name is Natalie. I am from Montreal, Canada. So weather here is a little bit cool today. It's actually, I have the heat on today. And what I do is I help women find their voice and confidence so that they can rise into purpose, passion, and happiness. And the way that I do that is with healing. So I love helping them remove their energetic blocks, but also finding and more and more reconnecting to their own pieces that they've let go of. And most of the time, those are pieces like joy, I'm enough, I am loved, I am able to create. And my intention when I work with them is really to help them find trust in their own selves and to be able to move forward. Because so many people are stuck, whether they're in business or not, they want to change the world, they want to make an impact, but they don't feel like they can. And so the work that I do is really to help them expand into that and find truth and the ability to trust themselves to go forward.
Yeah. Wonderful. I mean, I'm absolutely on your same page because that's, I do the same. We maybe use different tools and, different ways of delivering it or whatever, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that the change is happening for people, right?
And you know what? For some of us, the change has been happening for many, many years.
Yeah.
Because we've been, and I always like to say that, when I meet healers and I meet people that are really like, they're here to change the world, they've been going through so much stuff, right? Yeah. And it's not like you have a choice to go outside of your comfort zone. You have no choice because it's suffocating and you have to figure out a better way. And ultimately, like that's the process. And right now, because of this whole virus thing, there's so many people that are needing to come out, that are wanting, and they're like, this isn't enough anymore. And those are the people that we're here to help now.
That's exactly what I was saying in my live just a minute ago in my group. I was saying, look, this is basically what you were saying there, pretty much in slightly different words. But yes, totally come here to, I completely unlock and actually go out and do it, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have noticed as well, so many women. And what you just said there is very, very true, that if somebody has had a very tough time, that's just like preparation for what's to come. It's not it's not a perfect path just because we want, it's almost like we become who we are
because of all of that,
through our experiences, right?
You know, it's the contrast of it all. If it doesn't exist, who would you be? Like, can you imagine if you had gone through life and everything had been honky-dory and you've been like happy just being married and having kids, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, absolutely not.
But if you had been like, oh yeah, everything's great, you know, you wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't
contrast be or anything. Yeah, that'd be, well, it might. There's no polarity then, is it? No. Then you don't maybe feel so passionate. No. I think passion comes out of pain sometimes, but you have to.
It does. And, you know, I think that the idea, though, is eventually to start letting go of pains and be inspired by our love, because we're all conditioned to focus on the pain, right? But and at the end of the day, you know, if you're in so much pain, you're going to want to get out of it.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. But it's this idea that you have to be able at some point to start following your inspiration and your joy. And we're not conditioned that way.
No. Right? And it's quite interesting. I had, I can see what you think about this. I had a conversation not so long ago in another group about, you know, trauma and pain and just how we've been conditioned, and people have had some, you know, horrible experiences, etc. And the conversation was obviously about how to heal that, if it's like PTSD or some really deep trauma stress, you know, in the body. But at the same time as well, I was then saying there is a choice, right? There's a choice to let go of things. Yes. You have a choice.
Yes.
Like what, you know, if you're going to say, well, I will never heal from this, that's going to take so long.
Why am I not
healing? Just windy, just listening to it.
Nothing's going to work for me.
Not going to work for me. Oh, I have tried so many things before. I mean, come on.
But you know what's really interesting there is that, you know, it's like a two-step process. You want to learn from it.
Yeah.
And then you want to let it go and be complete with it so that you can move forward. You don't always have to come back. And it's this thing that it's like, it happens a lot with healers and people that are like in this world. They're like, I have to fix.
Yeah. And get obsessed with the fixing.
And you're not here to fix. You're here to go forward.
Yes.
Go fix something. Exactly. Go forward. If you need to fix something, we'll fix it. Oh my God, I'm so passionate about this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm so, and you know, for me, it's like, because I see a lot of people over the last 20 years, I've seen a lot of people, oh, it's gone a bit funny in the camera. I don't like it when it does that. Sorry, if anyone watched me live and see what I'm doing. I don't like it when it's blurred. I don't like, anyway. So like so many people, obviously, if somebody's had an extreme, you know, event happening, I do believe, yes, it needs healing. It needs some sort of releasing, or, you know, something needs to happen, of course, and we need to shift. But the rest is like in your mind, you know, if you believe that it's going to take me 5 years to heal that, well, it probably is going to take you then 10, because you've already said to yourself that it's going to take that long. So I believe that things can shift in an instant,
and they do shift in an instant if you open them up. Like I think about it like this, right? It's like a flower, and our job is to open people up enough to help the shift happen in an instant.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then you have to go back. I'm not going to keep fixing that thing.
No,
right?
I'm not going to go back and fix the same thing. New things might come up to the surface, but then we address it. And then you just, you know, this way. The other thing is, I do believe that there is, I don't even want to say 3D, but that, you know, there is a physiological process in the body that may have to just has its sort of course sometimes, because, you know, some people feel physically sick from, you know, blocking themselves emotionally or whatever. And I do believe that there is sometimes a transition time, you know, that the body can't just go, yeah, okay, that's all gone now.
Well, actually, I believe that it can be instant, but you have to be ready to receive it.
Yes.
And sometimes it's like, if it was too instant, it would be too much for most people.
Yes, and it might be feeling almost too not to be true.
Yeah. And it's like, and that brings back the doubt, and it brings back the
Yeah.
disease. And like when we're
Yeah.
talking about healing physical disease, so
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like having little things, right? And
Yes.
also, instant healings are great and they happen all the time around the world. But, most of the time it's like you keep focusing on it. The job is to focus on what it is that you're wanting and
Yeah,
to allow
exactly.
it to get better and to notice that getting better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, this is, coupled with all the visualizations and everything where people say, okay, well, this is the version that I can see in my mind. This is who I am. This is the true version of me. Buoyant, well, wealthy, happy, whatever, connected, abundant. And keep going back to that, because but I suppose what you're saying is that people have been so conditioned over time to stay in suffering, and that is going to take XYZ long time. And actually that's what I was talking to in the group. I was talking about time, how we can collapse time and stretch it.
Yeah.
And that's an element to shifting everything as well.
And the other thing is people have to be able to see themselves, not just see it in a vision, but really feel that they can have the freedom.
Yes.
Of whatever it is that they're dealing with, whether it's emotional pain or not enough money or lack of relationships.
Yes.
Because most people are like, they can't see that. And there's a lot of times there's conflicting values or there's conflicting energy. Like they might want to have a relationship, right? But on the one hand and on the other, all their past relationships have been really abusive. And it's like, how do you collapse that? How do you bring that into alignment? And that it's the process of like kind of undoing what you think you need to be and just choose what it is that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
And how you want it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's a really, really interesting. I mean, I totally agree with you, because you can apply that theory on anything. It could be relationships, could be a business, could be money, it could be whatever it is, your home, even where you live.
The only reason why we don't create as fast as we can, right? It's resistance to something, right? And then you might have to do a little bit of work to actually get it.
Yeah.
But it's the only reason. It's like, it's just us blocking in the path of or what we think we need to do to actually get something done.
Yes, exactly. Right? No, I totally agree. You wanted to talk about, well, I wanted to ask you questions about the 5-step process, the method that you are passionate about. Could you tell us more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So Goddess Rising, it came from this idea that and I want you to imagine that you're like a flame, right? And you're this light into the world, and you're in the center, and all around you are these parts of you. So the part of you that isn't confident, the part of you that is like super duper happy, the part of you that is joy, maybe the part of you that it feels insecure. It's like, I'm not good enough, right? You have thousands of parts, and we're all like that. And Goddess Rising is this idea that the sum of all the parts is greater than when you're individual parts. So a lot of times people are like, I just want to cut out my loneliness, or I just want to cut out my, I don't know, my depression, right? I wanted to cut that out, or the fat lady, right? And really, it's about bringing them back into alignment. Some people call those parts shadows. Some people call it like light shadows. And it's really about allowing the whole to work together. And when you're really standing in your power, not only are you working with these parts, but you're allowing your true divine connection to come through you. Okay. So it's really about allowing people to come back into that connection and to make that deciding to choose to live your life from that place of connection. So when I talk about the 5 steps, there's ultimately 5 steps. And I think these are the steps that no matter what you're creating, you need to always be coming back to. Okay. And the first one is to just get connected. All right. This is, people get a little bit like, oh, this is woo, right? And really all this is this idea that we're all connected through the energy of creation. Some people call it God, some people call it source. I call it all of the above. And it's about being connected to that energy. Because when you're not, you're disconnected. And that's what makes you feel lost. It makes you feel confused. It makes you feel like nothing is ever going to change. Like you can't get clients. You're really struggling. But as soon as you reconnect into that, you can get clarity, you can get guidance, and you can feel okay and at peace. And that's really like at the core of it, that's the foundation for being able to create your life and to take your gifts, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I say first step is always about that, but it's really a practice. It's not something that you're going to do once and it's going to be done forever. It's going to be something that you have to bring yourself back. It's a dance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, actually, because some people might say, but how do I do that?
Okay.
So
there's lots of different ways to do that, right? And I'm sure you're offering that. And if we just do it right now, like just imagine yourself, you're imagining a beautiful white light coming down from the ethers. It's unconditional love, okay, all the way down to the top of your head. And we let it go down into your heart and just allow it to go down into your space. Okay, down to your feet, down into Mother Earth. Okay, and in your mind, you can say, I'm part of all that is. There is no separation. You might feel your energy going outward. Okay, and I like to imagine your inner being, your goddess rising, coming down from the ethers. Okay, and she's going to come and stand in front of you. And you're going to notice what she looks like. Is she tall? Does she have wings? Is she white? Is she peaceful? Is she smiling?
So mine is like the warrior. They always
love it.
The warrior goddesses, yeah.
I love it. And you're going to ask her, what do I need to do or let go of in order to get in complete alignment with you? And she'll answer you.
She just said, you just need to continue relaxing. And this is what she's saying to me. So obviously, I don't know what. Please do share. We want you to share. So if you're watching the Facebook Live, please do share what you are getting, because we want to know, because this is exciting, right?
Yep. So and I want you to go, she wants you to relax. Okay.
Yeah, just continue relaxing, because I was just talking about it earlier, like in my Facebook Live, I was just saying, training in my group that, relaxation, just allow creativity to come as you're walking, as you do whatever, and continue relaxing.
So I'm going to change that wording a little bit to just be.
Yeah.
Would you like to know what it feels like to just be at all times?
Yes.
And can we complete this undercurrent that you have to do more, be more, have more in order to create?
Yeah.
Can we do that for everybody here? If you want it, let me know in the comments. Just type in yes.
Yeah.
To create or make
this just to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yes.
And it's enough to be you. Would you like to know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be.
Fantastic. And you're enough.
Yes.
And in your mind, you're going to say, I am enough. And you're going to see where you are in relevance to your inner being, your goddess rising. She's going to get closer to you. Are you completely in her shoes? Are you a little bit away? Where are you at, Jenny?
It's like she's standing right beside me here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, inner being, goddess rising, what does Jenny need to do to get in, to step into your shoes? Tell her. Whisper it to her.
So I ask her, yeah?
Yeah.
So what do I need to do to be fully in my goddess? Always. So just said, just be you. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to step into her shoes, because you are the goddess.
Yeah. All right. So I'm in there.
What's it feel like?
Freedom.
Good. Would you like to know how to bring that energy back into your day-to-day life?
Yes.
There you go. That's all it takes to get connected.
That's it. Wow. Everyone's connected to their goddess.
Yep. And if you guys had like a question that you wanted to have, if you're wanting to have clarity, now that I'm connected, what is it that I want to do? Right? And you'll get the answer. You don't have to force it. Some people might be listening and thinking, I never get these answers, but it's really just a question of allowing.
That's okay though.
The process to unfold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're forcing it, it's coming from here.
Oh yeah. We can't force anything.
And you can't force it. It has to come from outside. And, people underestimate how important it is. You could meditate, you could listen to Abraham Hicks. There's so many things that you can do to bring yourself back into alignment, but we fight it. I fight it. I'm sure that you do at times as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, what I find is that when it's the hardest is when you're too much in your head, you're in your mind, you're in your mind too much. That's when it's hardest to connect, because you're not allowing the heart space just to be open. And it's almost like turn off the mind, close your eyes, breathe in, and do this small exercise or another exercise that you feel is alignment with your connection or embodiment. And that's
all it takes. But
that's what it takes.
But when you're in your head, and I know for myself and for my clients, it's often like that. It's like, it's the last thing that you want to do, because your head is like, no, I'm going to stay safe, right? Because your head knows that as soon as you connect, you can kind of relax and you can let it go. Now, if you get to that state and you're like, you can't connect, that's when you know that you need to reach out for a little bit of help, and you need to get yourself back. You need someone to guide you through that process.
Exactly. And hold space for whatever it is. You might have a massive goal, you might have a small goal, it doesn't matter. The fact is that you have a vision that you want to go somewhere.
Absolutely.
And better your life, basically, in very
and that brings me to step number 2.
Step number 2, we want to know. We want to know step number 2.
So we did the meditation first.
Yes. Okay. That's okay.
It's all right. It works out just fine. Step number 2 is to get into the driver's seat of your life. Okay. And I want you to imagine that you have a Ferrari in front of you, right? Are you in the car? Or are you not in the car? And do you know where you're going? And have you decided to go there? Most people are not in their car. They're going somewhere where their parents thought them they should go. Maybe they're following other people, but most people are not really going where they want to go. And when we're talking about entrepreneurs, it happens quite a bit. Because with entrepreneurs, it's like you get excited about something, you start off, and maybe you were excited 2 years ago, but now you're kind of lost and you don't know where you're going. And it's really just fears in the driver's seat. Sorry, my phone, everything's going off.
Maybe turn it silent,
Sorry about that. And so it's really about allowing yourself to kick fear out of the driver's seat and go, what is it that I want? Where do I want to go? And reconnecting with that and committing to going there. Often I ask the question, how committed are you to your goal? And on a scale of 1 to 10, and people go, oh, I'm pretty committed. I'm like, okay, so what's the number, right? Like 1 is you're not committed, and 10 is you're all in. And they go, well, I'm a 9. I'm like, okay, well, that means that you're sitting on the fence, right? And if you're sitting on the fence, you might as well be a 0. Right? Because it's like, I'm waiting to see if I can make it happen, if it's the right time, right? And it's like, no, right? You have to get off the fence. You have to decide that you're going somewhere, and you're going to have to drive there. Absolutely. When I go to Montana, and I like to use that example, it's like 4-day drive for me. I don't live in the UK.
No. But you go to Montana in 48 hours. So you've got to be.
It's a 4-day drive. It's a long drive. Like, as much as I want to go to Montana, it's like, I could be a 9, but until I actually decide to go there, I'm not going to get in the car, and I'm not going to do this 4-day
and you're
drive.
not going to get to Montana.
No. And it's the same in life. And, and if anybody's listening to this, and if there's one thing they need to hear, is that it's okay to pick their destination before they know how to get there.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Because we have this inner GPS, and our GPS is going to show us the next step. And we're going to talk about how do you actually start following it.
That's exactly.
But it doesn't happen until you actually get in the car and say, okay, I'm going there.
Okay. Well, it's like you can couple that decision, if you like, because it's almost like it's a commitment and a decision that you're making. It's like you're saying, that's it. I'm driving there now. This is what I'm doing. And that, I talk about commitment and decisiveness and certainty all the time, because without that, you're not going to be able to create, because it's like, again, you're confusing the universe. So if you're not deciding,
you're confusing yourself too.
And yourself, exactly. If you're not clear, how is your clients going to be clear on what they're going to get? Or if you're not clear, how is your body going to be clear about how it's going to heal? Or absolutely. Whatever, like, it doesn't matter what.
For me, the example I'll use here, and I'll get personal a little bit. In 2005, a friend of mine committed suicide. And that was, for me, the event that sent me over the edge, right? But I made him a promise to find a better way to live my life. And up until that moment, I was too scared to quit my job. I was too scared to even ask for help. I was too scared. Everything I was suffering, but it wasn't too bad. Up until the moment where I decided that, hey, it's not going to be that way forever.
No.
Nothing changed. And that's why that commitment, that decision is so important. It has to be internal to you, and no one else can make it for you. It doesn't matter how often you invest in a coach, in a program. If you're not 100% into your dream, and if you're lying to yourself, you're not doing yourself a service. It's your job to say, hey, I want something different. I don't care if you know what it is just yet or what it looks like. It's your job to say, hey, this is my dream, and I'm going to figure out a way to make it.
Yeah, exactly. And then trusting the steps, because this is just me personally. I'm sharing with you guys here, and I think some people know this already, but it's almost like I never really think about the steps until a bit nearer to the time. It's almost like I have like the big goal or the, and the vision I see in my mind. And then I have some middle goals to get there. And I'm focusing on one thing at a time. And it's almost like, I don't know what's going to turn up every day. I mean, I have some strategy in place. Yes, of course. But the rest, I don't know. It's going to just pan out. It's going to come to me.
And it's just going to work out. I love that.
And it has to. Because yeah.
I'm a schemer. I have an inner schemer.
Yeah.
I have to tell her to go take a break sometimes.
Exactly. So it's almost like that is the trust, right?
It is trust, and it is the trust, because if we understand the laws of the universe, we know that when we have a desire and we have a commitment, the path is there. It exists. It's not like we have to go and create money or create clients. They exist, but our job is to see the opportunities that are in the path and take action. That's understanding how it works, and then you actually have to do it. And that's where a lot of us get in our own way, right? We're like, okay, now I need to do this or I need to do that. The how isn't up to us. But we also have the power to choose that whatever we're doing is the right step.
Yes, exactly.
Right. It's kind of
and also this is what I was talking about earlier as well. Imperfect action. We've got to get out of our own way, because like, look, if you don't know exactly the exact step maybe, but if it feels right, just do it.
Yeah. And where people get hung up, especially like on the fence, especially before they started their business or they're just at the beginning and they can't quite see how it all's going to fit. They look at it and they're trying to line up all the ducks, trying to make sense. Like, how am I going to make a living? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And it just doesn't work. This isn't like the corporate world where you have loads and loads of evidence on how you should run a project, whether it's IT or marketing or sales, whatever. This is something that you've never done before. So there's no way to line them up.
And it will look different to different soul workers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, you can't follow someone else's path. You got to follow your own.
No. You know, I have a client and we were talking, she has got a coach, like a business coach, which is great, but she is like my energy client. And I was teaching her this. I was saying to her this, like, if you don't want to, okay, so you might want to have a Facebook group at some point, but if you don't want it right now, and if you want to focus on your YouTube and it feels good, then that's what you do. Then you follow that, because it doesn't mean you're not going to do the rest. It means that just right now, that's what's best for you. And that is how it's going to unfold. And then from doing that, something else will unfold and you'll be like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. Exactly what I said about the, in the beginning of this show, that's what came to me. Jenny, you must, like Spirit told me, do the show, because you need to talk to people about, you know, the light work, and you need to talk to people about conscious creation and all these things. And also it's going to be really good because more people are going to be learning about the topics. So it's going to be great for your business and for their business and for everyone else's, you know what I mean? So that's just a part of the big plan.
No, it's really interesting, like what happens when people understand the difference of like going from a place of following someone else's business strategy. And there's nothing wrong with the strategy, but if your alignment's out, it's not going to work.
Then it's not going to work.
So I've seen a lot of people launch things, like do a whole launch plan. They spend money on their Facebook ads. They spend money on like the sales page. And I'm sure you've seen that too, right?
Yeah.
And you get to the end and they get like one sale.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, right. Yeah. And you can feel their frustration and their disappointment. And they start to think that there's something wrong with them and they're not cut out for this work. I had that happen to one of my clients. And we actually went back to this whole thing of like, what if you let go of this idea that it has to be hard?
Yeah.
right? And she let go of that. And at the end, I said, okay, because I took her through that. And it wasn't easy because we hold on to that. It has to be hard because there's a challenge and we love a good challenge.
Yeah. And a programming that it should be hard.
Right? It should be hard. And who are you for it to be easy? Who are you to be super rich, right?
And why should it be easy? Like, you know, to do your business and be relaxed. You still have to take action, but it has to be relaxed. Like, you know,
it can't be fun.
Yeah, it needs to be fun. Yeah.
So she, at the end of the call, I asked her, I said, well, what do you want to do now? She says, well, if I had a choice, I would just go and do podcasts. And then I don't know, I would go and book clients from that because I always book clients from podcasts. So I'm like, go do that. Go book 3 podcasts this afternoon.
Yeah.
It took her 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So at Christmas, she calls me back. She messages me. She says, I had this breakthrough. I did a podcast. It came out on Boxing Day. Not a great time of the year, really.
Yeah.
But she ended up with 5 new clients.
Exactly. Because they were
right. And it was just like, she just followed her truth. Yeah. And that's what happens. That's what's possible when you start to really just go, oh, what is it that I want to do?
Well, you know, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I struggle with that because I'm like, do I need to teach people a business strategy? Right. But it's more about the energy than it is about the business strategy. If you decide that you're in alignment, that this is the right thing to do, and maybe you're not going to get the results, but maybe that's the path you needed to take to get to the next step.
Yeah. And you know, this is an evolution of a business as well. You know, everything is, you know, there's certain steps. So step 3.
We've already talked about it.
Oh, we said sorry.
No. It's okay. You'll see why I said that. All right. So step 1 was to get connected. Step 2 is to get into the driver's seat. Step 3 is to follow your energy.
Yeah, follow the energy. So we've already spoken about that. Yeah, follow your energy and follow what feels right.
Right. And it's an iteration, right? Like, so you're going to go and get connected. You're going to get clear on what it is that you're wanting. You're going to commit to it and recommitment. Sometimes you have to do it every day, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do it once a week, but it really is just, all right, what is my next best step today?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you like connect with your inner being and your goddess is right there and you're asking her, what is my next best step today? She'll answer you. She'll give you the information. And right now she's going to give you a book, right? And just open up the book to page 76 and there's an image on the page. And what is the image?
So for me, it's an image of, it's like, it sounds a bit strange, but it's like an elf or it looks like a Pleiadian almost, like a, you know, a angelic sort of being holding a crystal, not a crystal ball as in crystal, but more like a gift like this.
Okay. And if you were totally connected and tuned in and turned on right now, what would that be telling you about your next step?
It says clarity.
Okay.
And that's exactly what's been happening with me personally. More clarity. And that is it. Just need clarity. And then just keep doing what I do.
Would you like to know what you need to do to be able to get clarity?
Keep connecting.
I'm going to go further than that. That's the default answer. You are connected. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you release this idea that you don't have it?
Yes.
And that it's hard to get clarity and that you have to work for it. There you go.
I do believe I'm totally clear, connected and clear all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I do. But there's a part of you that thinks you have to be, in order to be clear about what you want, you have to work for it. You have to, it's hard. That's what I'm picking up. Maybe it doesn't resonate for you. And I'm okay if it doesn't resonate. We don't have to do the download.
No, that comes up sometimes to like that I have to do certain steps to be clear.
Yeah. And would you just like to allow the clarity to come in through your heart? And can we delegate that clarity to the universe?
Yes.
And would you like to have it today?
Yes, now.
24 hours.
24 hours. It's constant. Okay. It's permanent.
Okay. Yeah, it's done.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Good.
So, and it'll come, right? Because we spend so much, and it's really the efforting behind, I need to get clear. And that's what's been coming up for me. Like when you said that, the impression I had was this idea that you're like, okay, I'm working towards it. And really you just need to stop, breathe, get connected and allow it.
Yes. And not overthink it.
Yeah.
Not overthink it.
Okay, but your inner being, she'll got, or your goddess, whatever you want to call her. I call her your goddess, your inner being. I interchange these things, but it's really just asking her, what do I need to do, and what do I need to let go of? That's it. And you can do that for yourself, right?
Oh, absolutely. And simplicity. And simplicity is easy for me. I always think it's easy, it's simple. It must be easy. Like, it's simple is easy, because if it's too complicated, if it's too, I don't know, it doesn't have to be. It can be so easy.
No, and like last night, I was really struggling with clarity as well. Like, it seems to be the theme of the week.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's my clarity? I'm lost. And every time I tried to see it, I felt like I was in this dark zone.
Yeah.
Okay. But I also know that when that happens, it's because I'm on the verge of something greater. Yes. Right.
It's always like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, personally, what I get is that I have a bit of a blurry kind of couple of days sometimes, when it's like, and then I let go of everything. I don't force it. I don't do anything. If I feel inward, I don't go on social media. I just wait. And then I know that it will come. So I just relax. I'm like, it's going to come anyway. It always comes. So there's no problem.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This is normal. This is like, for anyone watching now who has a soul business, whether you're new or established or like really experienced, whatever, well, if you're experienced, you know this, but if you're not experienced, you may think, oh my goodness, have I lost the thread? Is it not going to work or whatever? But like, no, it will. It's a cycle thing, I think, as well. And energetically, every 3 months, it feels like, you're upgrading, you're doing some sort of shift with yourself. And soul businesses, the person is the business. So
and you're constantly shifting and evolving. It doesn't stop, right?
No.
And when I hate the most, though, is when you feel like there's this idea that if you just get like one offer out there and you put it out into the world, and like your whole business is going to work out. It might be really, really right for you in January, and then by the time July comes around, you're like, it doesn't work anymore.
No, it's changing.
And it's okay to shift. And what you're wanting to do is to allow that to come through. And it doesn't mean that you're broken or that you're not good enough. No. It just means that more of you is wanting to come out.
Yeah, exactly. And to go with that, I had something like that with the group program. So I started a new group. I've run 2 different versions of it. This is version 3 now. So, and basically I had a big group, and then beginning of this year, I felt like it was changing. So basically what happened is that I had somebody in it. They didn't want to carry on for now. That wasn't because of me, it was because of external. But then I believe it is all planned out anyway, but it was meant. So I was like, I've got a massive breathing space here to just recalibrate. And that's what I'm doing now. So it's happening. The new calibration of it.
And I think that the recalibration is something that's happening because of this whole virus thing.
Yeah.
And we're not immune to that.
No.
It's like everybody's getting pushed back into their true path.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is it that you're wanting, and where is it that you're wanting to go, and what feels good?
That's right. Exactly.
Let's talk.
That's very normal. And you just have to surrender to that. And that's like the normal of any soul business.
Yeah. But it's hard, right? Because you're like,
it gets better and better.
And then there's days where you're just like, oh my God, I love this business. Remember those.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, lovely. Great.
So step number 4 is to become the person you need to be. Okay. And here, let me explain that. Sometimes we think that we can't. You need to become the person that sees the opportunities and that can actually go after them, right? It's not enough to want something or to commit to something. You need to allow yourself to evolve. And it goes back to what we were just saying. It's allowing yourself to become the person that thinks the way you need to think.
Yes.
And, mindset is so, so important to all of this. I love energy work, but at the end of the day, it's about choosing your thoughts, choosing what you focus on, and choosing how you're going to react in the world and what you're going to put out there.
Absolutely.
And that, for me, is the essence of being the goddess rising. It's about becoming that person that is just you. And, a lot of times people say, just go be you, but you have no clue how to be you. It's practice.
No.
It's choosing to believe, to know that your desires are out there, and to actually take action with faith, and to refuse to doubt at some level, right? And if you do doubt, you're like, okay, it's doubt. It's not the end of the world. I still choose to believe. And it's really a refocusing back onto that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, that's really what it means. And when you do that, you can see the opportunities that are coming to you.
Yes. And also what happens then as well, because I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks now. I've been stepping into that person that I can see. And look, Lynn, I can be that person now, but I suppose the results of being that person is going to show up as I go. It doesn't happen like overnight as such. It's like the results of that energy embodiment will happen as I go. So as soon as I did that, I had 3 new podcasts interviews, and it just feels different. Basically, it just feels different. It feels very different about the group program that I'm starting 8th of June. It just feels very, very different, and it feels like, it feels massive change actually. And I think this is the whole thing that we said about recalibration. But again,
it's about feeling the vibration before it actually experience it.
Exactly.
And becoming who is about being in that vibration.
Yes.
And like, if people wanted to have a quick tool right now, one of the things they can do is just to imagine themselves and practice this like 1 minute a day. If you close your eyes and you go, okay, I want freedom. What does freedom look like to you? And not the details of a job or money and all of that. For me, it's, if you were in a forest and it represented freedom, what would be going on in the forest? For me, I see little birds flying on the both sides.
Yes. Yeah. Nice.
Movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you just sit with that vibration of, I get to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
People are singing, people are beautiful. I feel it, right?
Lovely.
It sounds silly, but that exercise alone gets you into that feeling vibration of freedom. And when you send out that vibration, it has to come back to you.
Yes, exactly.
And when we're talking about abundance of joy, of health, of wealth, of relationships, it always boils down to this feeling of freedom, of being yourself. This is the one thing that everybody here craves, right? Whether or not, like, if we go beyond the I want a business, all of that, it's I want to be free.
It comes back to joy, happiness, just feeling alive. It comes back to being free. It becomes and like no stress. Like you just want to feel good. I mean, that is really what it comes back to.
Yeah, and it's a simple concept, but
very simple.
Really hard to do.
Really hard to obtain because it's like, no, it's wonderful. The vibration you want to become, or like where you want to be, is what you embody first, and imagine that you were there, and then that's where you go, because that's what's going to happen.
Yep. And practicing that doesn't have to be hard. No. Sometimes when I can't do it for some reason, right, I'm like, okay, well, listen to a meditation, or you just want to disconnect and really allow the flow to happen. Sometimes I'll listen to Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to Abraham Hicks. I listen to a few things, but I believe that coming back to yourself always when things are out of alignment. So you learn. I teach my clients very much to teach them how they feel. Like not. They need to learn how to feel, how they're feeling.
They need, a lot of people don't know how they're feeling.
Exactly. And navigate that. What do I need right now? That's very simple. So if I said, right, you've got 5 tools here. This one is for this one is for energy clearing, this is for grounding, this is for this is for this. Now, you need to know your body. You need to learn to your body what it is you need, because you may need an energy clearing. You may need to just listen to a podcast for fun, right? You may need to just walk in nature. So empowering about what you need is so important. I mean, you know this, of course, but
also giving yourself permission to follow through on it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's an act of self-love. And most of us are so hard on ourselves that we don't really do the things that we know would help.
Yeah.
So it's about going, no more self-hate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do what feels good.
Yeah. I'll tell you a good example, and people will relate to this as well. I'll tell you an example. Happened the other day, and something I would never dreamed of to do, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. So for those who have children, they know that obviously when you have children around, especially small ones, it is busy because they want you all the time. So it's kind of, you're just doing tasks, and you're getting their food, and you're doing whatever else. You're kind of in service all the time. So not just that, I have this perpetuate, or used to have this perpetuate nurture inside of me, which I'm still nurturing woman, but I have let go of what I need to do. I mean, honestly, I'm not doing what I don't feel like doing. Absolutely no way anymore. And it's like, it's not happening. So the other day, this was the typical embodiment, and I hope somebody can relate to this. My children were really busy. I mean, they were fed and everything was fine. They were doing something. My husband was working, and this has been a really interesting thing with me and my husband. He's a real, doer, get stuff done and all this. So we kind of, if he's doing stuff, it feels, I kind of rub off on that. But I've just started to just do what I want to do. I mean, I've done it for a while now, but I went for sleep in the afternoon. And he was like, Jenny, where are you? And I'm like, just sleeping. And he's like, okay. He don't care. He will let me sleep. He doesn't have any judgment. But look, since when does women just go, do you know what? I'm just going to go for sleep now. Small children around. I mean, I was like, this is great. I love this freedom. I'm just going to have a nap. I don't care.
And everybody is going to be okay.
Everyone's going to be okay. I mean, I've done it loads of times, right? But it's like, if I think of how my mindset was 5-10 years ago, or even before that, I mean, it's a bit hard to say before children because can't really relate to how I was feeling. And I suppose I did it when I was single because I just did it. But this is more about when you, I suppose, other people expect, or, whatever your expectations from you.
But you may not have kids. Like, I don't have kids, but that same principle applies to my clients.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, I don't have to carry my clients across the finish line.
No.
I have to guide them. And it's the same thing as a mom. Okay, you're wanting to make sure that they're safe. And
of course, like, the doors are not wide open, they can run out in the street or anything, but no, I'm like, no, I'm going to sleep more. I don't care. I got up at 9:30 this morning.
Everybody survives.
Everyone's fine. But they actually slept in as well. So, I mean, if they'd gone to bed really early, they'd probably wake me up anyway.
And if you're okay, I'd like to go on to step 5 because I have something else in 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's okay. Go on step 5.
So step 5 is to ask for help.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think so many of us think, oh, we can do it on ourselves. We can do it on our own. We don't need this. Or sometimes we ask for help, but we ask for help from people that can't really help us. So ask for help for people that can help you transform and become
from professionals. Yes.
Right.
Or if it's within your business, I suppose. Yeah.
So because, you can learn from business coaches, but if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have that piece that goes with it, if you don't if you don't clear your energy, often it's not going to work. So get the help that you need at all levels, not just one aspect, because it looks like if you do ABC, you're going to get the money outcome. The money is not going to come until you actually become.
No.
And doing that on your own is extremely difficult because you can't see your own blind spots.
No, you can't see your own blind spots. That's what I say as well. And I say people, 80% of your success is your internal work. That is it. 20%, yes, you need to have some knowledge and strategies, and you need to understand certain things. You need to put them in place, and, it needs to work. But
so I'll give an example of that because I think people don't understand how big of an impact that is. So I've spent over 150,000 getting trained on business training and stuff. And I still haven't hit it out of the park. And the more I realize it, it's because every time they say, okay, come up with your offer, I'm not going inside, I'm going outside trying to figure out what everybody else wants. And that's because there's a part of me that still thinks I'm not good enough, right? And without the mindset work, I will never be able to create an offer that will really sell, right? I'll never trust myself enough to go out there. I'll never believe that it's actually going to work. Right? Because all of those things need to happen. So asking for help, letting that transformation happen, it's...
No, you need to ask for help. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, great. So recap on the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. People got it. 1.
Get connected.
Yeah.
2 is to get into the driver's seat.
Yeah.
3 is to follow your energy, right?
Yeah.
Actually take action.
Yeah.
And 4 is to become the who. And 5 is to ask for help.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then do it every day and you'll be flying.
Yay. And it's one step at a time. And as creator, that what you guys need to hear right now, I hear you are enough. Yes. So trust that you are enough. Yes. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to do more courses. You just have to start. And, it's like a wheel. You're going to put one foot in front of the other and it's going to go faster and faster and faster. Eventually, you're going to be turning around going, you're going to be the one on Jenny's show. Okay. So trust that.
Yes.
Just go ahead and do it. Okay.
Right.
That's it.
Perfect. So, ladies, if anyone wants to get into contact with Nathalie for more guidance, for anything that she could help you with to step into your goddess, then send her a message. If anyone here is an online entrepreneur, is interested to go deep for 3 months, contact me, because we're starting on the 8th of June.
What is your program that you're starting on the 8th?
So I call it Unlock Your Soul Work, Impacting Millions. And that was the recalibration of what the previous 2 programs. And it's basically energy work. I'd say probably 80% energy work and 20% strategy in there.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet.
Yeah. So it's for anyone who wants to get online properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll stop streaming now and then we'll jump into them. So thank you everybody, Facebook watchers. See you soon. Love you. Send you lots of love and send us messages if you need to have questions, anything. We're here to help. Okay.